What's going on, guys? Um, Thank you for all the support regarding the Invincibles. You guys have been asking when the new episode is, where the new episode is. Recorded the new episode, I want to say like 30 minutes ago. It is by far the darkest and the most serious episode we've ever recorded. Um, and not dark in terms like we still laugh and joke and stuff, but just the topics, right? So we're talking about Invincible. Specifically, there is a very dark event that happens in the show that we cover, and we kind of tie it to representation and mental health and things like that. And we also talked about, Marvel Spider-Man 2 potentially being delayed because people want Insomniac to remove gay representation from the game. So a lot of social justice themes, a lot of emotions, but like always, me and Oli, we're always going to speak up for what's right. So tune in. Hello, everybody. It's been a while, but we're back. What is going on? Hopefully, everybody is, healthy, happy, ready to listen to this podcast. Before we get started, as always, please donate to the WGA and SWA strike. Excuse me, I can't talk. To the WGA strikers and the writers. It is the hottest point in human history currently right now, and they are out in Los Angeles picketing, striking, and a lot of the executives refuse to give writers the pay that they deserve. So I just wanted to take the time here really quickly to please donate to them and support them, and do not give up on your dreams to be a writer. Nobody said it would be easy, but nobody said to give up either. So go ahead and support. But with that being said, you know who I am. I'm Zan.
I'm Oli.
And we
Ah,
the
Invincibles.
Invincible. And today we're actually going to be talking about Invincible.
Yes.
But admittedly,
Where's
I
my
don't know
Invincible
nearly as.
action figure?
Yeah, let's see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Invincible is probably one of my favorite comic books of all time. It's definitely above even a lot of the classic Marvel runs of like Jam de Matisse, in my opinion. But admittedly, I'm a newbie Invincible fan. I don't know much outside of I've read up until Anissa, and I'm not going to
Okay.
spoil for those who don't know who Anissa is and that
Oh,
buggy situation. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna have Ollie educate us and just talk about season two, and
Okay.
I have some interesting questions about the character arcs of Nolan and Mark, and just deep diving into Invincible. And then later on, we're going to be talking about Spider-Man, because there are some rumors that we might see our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in Invincible. More on that from Ollie. And we're going to finish off the show with the news that potentially Marvel Spider-Man 2 is going to be delayed because Saudi, China, most of the Middle East, a lot of Asian countries are threatening to boycott Marvel Spider-Man 2 because of LGBTQ characters and representation. And the game, obviously, we're not in a society yet where you can have it as a story arc, but even just minor representation, that's enough for everybody to be crying about it. So we're going to be talking about that. But without further ado, man, Ollie, I just wanted to ask you about Invincible, man. We saw season one. You've also read the entire comic book run. What?
Twice.
Yeah, right. So, like, I guess what I'm saying is, going into season two, we know in season one that Nolan left Earth.
Yes.
Mark is in a very dark, depressing space. Debbie is in a very dark, depressing space, to the point where she started drinking now. We know what's going to happen from the comic book, obviously, but what should we expect in season two?
I
And
think
not necessarily like events, but like in terms of like the characters we love. Where are they going to go? If that makes sense.
so. I've got a couple friends who got into Invincible through the show like I did, but didn't pick up the comic and are just fans of the show. And I've talked to them a bit about their predictions for season two, especially after seeing the trailer. And if what they think is going to happen is the general consensus between fans just of the show, then I think people are maybe underestimating, maybe. Uh, I think people are going to be surprised by what happens. A common theme is people think Omni-Man's going to return, but the effect that's going to have on Mark, I don't think, if it happens the way I think it's going to happen. Oh, do I go into?
Just do it.
It's struggling without spoilers. Should I? Okay,
This is
spoiler warning.
spoilers. Spoiler warning.
There's an arc in the comics where, okay, I'll do the long-winded version. Science Dog or Seance Dog, as it is in the show, appears to Mark, and then it turns out to be some like bug type thing, and he goes to that planet. I think it's Thraxia, I think it's called, and turns out on this planet with all these bugs, Nolan is there, and he's had a child with one of these bugs, and that's like the big moment where he returns. And I think the season 2 might end on that, because we already know they're getting a season 3, so they can sort of, they don't need to bring him back for the majority of season 2. So the fact he's coming in at the end means that we won't see sort of his and Mark's relationship sort of develop very much in this season, but we'll see Mark dealing with knowing his dad is a villain, and the whole world knowing that Omni-Man is his dad, and well, knowing that he's Invincible's dad, not Mark Grayson's dad, but and dealing with with the fact that he's going to outlive everyone that he loves, and sort of going through the motions of, oh, is that who I'm supposed to be? How can I be a good guy when I'm bred to be sort of this person who takes over planets and things like that? And we'll also see Mark's probably biggest enemy, his arch nemesis. We'll see him come into the mix, Angstrom Levy, however you say it. And that is kind of how, I'm sorry, I've gone on a massive tangent here.
No, it's good though. It's good.
And that sort of ties into what you briefly mentioned about Spider-Man as well. But Angstrom Levy, he, out of all the Invincible villains, including Thrag, I'd say none of them have as much of an impact as Mark on Mark as a person than Angstrom Levy.
Even Conquest?
I'd say even Conquest.
Ooh, why is that? Real quick, why is that? Why is that? Why do you have Angstrom Levy over Conquest?
Because of maybe without Angstrom Levy, I don't know if Mark and Eve, if their relationship would have been the same, because Mark getting sent to that dimension, that alternate dimension where it's like, a desert wasteland, that really was a catalyst for him telling Eve that he loved her. And he wouldn't have ended up there without Angstrom Levy. And it really made Mark, the whole situation with Eve and their child's life being in danger, that whole situation as well later on, that really changed something in Mark, that made him put his family first before anything else. And it gave him just that instinct to go that little bit further, and it gave him that bit more power, which eventually helped him defeat Conquest.
Right.
Sorry, that's spoiling a bit. Sorry, I spoiled a bit.
No, it's all good. I mean, I figured. I mean,
yeah. Well,
to those who are kind of confused, I've read Invincible. I'm going into Compendium 2. I have Compendium 1 here right now. But I don't know a lot of the ins and outs of, like, because I haven't read the entire saga like all of you have. So yeah, no, I mean, obviously if Invincible died fighting Conquest, then we're not going to get season 3, so it's all good. It's all good.
And I'll touch on the Spider-Man thing for a sec. So Josh Keaton's on the cast.
Yes.
Probably the best. Would you say he's the best Spider-Man voice actor? He's maybe the most well known.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, he's probably my personal favorite anyway. And this isn't just like a fan theory because he's on the cast. In the comic, during all the multiverse stuff with Angstrom Levy, I just thought I didn't even explain Angstrom Levy's powers. He can open up portals to different dimensions.
Okay.
And basically, there's this portal opens up. Invincible goes through it, and in the comic, you see like a web, and you see like a Doc Ock's tentacle, and
Arms.
yeah, and then it just
Let me
hints.
actually pull it up.
Yes, and I've got the crossover comics somewhere. I think it's Marvel Team Up number 14. Um, it's a Invincible and Spider-Man together in a like a one-off comic. So and Invincible spends a whole day in Spider-Man's universe, and there's a joke about about the Spider-Man's name and how Mark thinks it's like a shit name and stuff like that. So and the timeline, the sort of where that takes place, that'll happen in this season. So it's now Josh Keaton's confirmed to be voicing somebody. That's going to happen, and Amazon have got a deal with Sony for like TV rights to Spider-Man. So I'm 99% sure we're gonna get at least a cameo from Spider-Man. Don't know what version of Spider-Man.
So
If it's
yeah, for
Spectacular
those,
Spider-Man, that'd be amazing.
yeah, and so for those who I'm gonna have it here. So
Yes.
Angstrom Levy, he's like, being a bad guy, blah blah blah. So Mark tries to, Roman Reigns spear him, and instead he is teleported here. I mean, he is teleported to you guys can't see blah, blah, blah. Right there. Zoom in, pause it, whatever. That's a portal. Doc Ock arms, Spider-Man's hand. Whoa. So this is in canon. This is in universe. This is not just cameo fest. Mark Grayson and Peter Parker actually know each other. They're I wouldn't say they're boys, but they're acquaintances.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the multiverse. So he could actually show up. Spider-Man could actually show up for like 5 seconds in Invincible season 2. But going back to Angstrom Levy, how does Angstrom Levy differ in the show than in the comic in your estimation?
Oh,
Or does he need to?
I think I wouldn't change much because I think he's a perfect villain. And I don't know. I hope they don't change it too much. But then again, a lot of the stuff, maybe most of the stuff they have changed from the comic in season 1, they did improve on most of it. So if they do change it, I've got faith that it'll be good. But what I do with season 2 is maybe begin the season, just begins episode 1, focusing like looking at Angstrom Levy, the whole experiment, where his head gets massive and stuff like that. To start it off and do things maybe in a different order from the comic because each, as we were saying before we start recording, each comic's its sort of own individual adventure sometimes, and then there's obviously there's arcs and stuff like that, but
It's
they can
very
play.
episodic.
Yes, and they can play around with the order of the events for the show, to fit sort of what story they want to tell. But I wouldn't change the character that much. So I think he's an incredible villain. I am very, very, very excited for Angstrom Levy.
So, all right. So then let's, address the fact that most people who are introduced to superheroes, who are introduced to comic books, is through Marvel and DC. Okay. And Invincible kind of came onto the scene in terms of, general audiences, not superhero fans, not comic book fans, but general audiences through the show. But I would argue that Spider-Man and Invincible's crossover in the early 2000s was necessary because it validated third-party comics. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because now people don't look at, Image Comics or anything like that as like the B tier storyline. No, like Mark Grayson and Spider-Man literally had a collab, and Invincible held his own. And
Mhm.
like I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, but just objectively, I feel like Invincible would win in a fight. I
Yeah,
mean, just
yeah.
objectively, he beats Peter. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't think they need to do a crazy cameo with Spider-Man, because the reason why that was done in the comics, quite frankly, in my opinion, was to get more eyes on Invincible.
Mhm.
And through Spider-Man, you validate that IP, because it's like, if you like Spider-Man, you like this character, oh, I'm going to check it out. So it's a business model. You don't need to do that here. So I wouldn't be surprised, fanboys. I wouldn't be surprised if Spider-Man isn't in the show like in a crazy Luke Skywalker Mandalorian season 2 type of deal. Like it wouldn't fit thematically. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
one thing that I feel like does fit thematically in Invincible is the family dynamic. And specifically, I really want to see the relationship between Debbie and Mark kind of get, you know, I don't want to say twisted, because I don't love like our characters in pain, but I really do want to see the show tackle deep themes of like, loss, trauma, like drinking. So like, substances
Mhm.
abuse. How deep into those themes do you think the show is going to go? And does it need to?
I think,
Because the comic did quite well.
yeah, the comic did it extremely well, and it tackles some very dark themes later on, as you know, and as the comic
Mm,
readers know. Um, so I think it has to, and I think season one, even though parts of it were very serious, and obviously the final episode very, very graphic, it was still mostly quite fun,
mm-hmm.
if you get what I mean.
Yeah,
Um,
there was a spirit to it.
yeah, because like he's a teenager, he's just become a superhero. There's still that sort of novelty about it for Mark, which translated, to people watching it, um, made them find it quite fun. And I think it does need to just go that little bit darker in this one to show everyone. Even though this is, a very fun comic, it's a funny comic, it's a funny character. It does go to some insane places,
Mm,
um, and especially with what will come in season three and after, they need to set the tone for that now.
mm,
Um, and they can afford to because they've already got season three confirmed.
mm.
And
Yes,
also, I believe the voice acting's already done for season three, so there shouldn't be that much longer of a wait between two and three.
I really hope so. But we all support, the writers and stuff, and whatever they
Mm.
need to do to get their money, do it. So if that means there's a delay, then I'm all for it.
Oh yeah.
Especially, just being, ethical. um but you brought up an interesting question, Ollie, or an interesting point. The show goes very dark. Can we talk about, or should we talk about that scene specifically with Mark? And I called the bug lady Anissa. That's not her name, is it?
No, Anissa is the Viltrumite.
The Viltrumite. Yeah, sorry guys. So if I'm sorry, I said it, I put a disclaimer at the beginning. I'm not a huge Invincible fan, but I do love Invincible, and I want to get more
Mm.
into it. I'm still learning, guys, still learning.
Okay.
But should we, you think that's a good idea? Let's talk about Anissa and Mark.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay.
I'll just find out exactly what issue of the comic that's in, so people can read it for themselves as well to get their own
Yeah. And we
opinion.
won't be, we obviously, like, we won't be showing like visuals of those panels. You guys can
Hmm.
search that up on the internet. But for those who are confused and kind of, like, why are they so serious now? So Invincible covers a lot of dark themes such as violence, betrayal, drug abuse, excuse me. But one of them is also sexual assault. And so, trigger warning, just if we want to respect you guys here. Mark Grayson, and spoiler warning, Mark Grayson is raped by a female Viltrumite named Anissa. And so she literally pins him down and is like, "We are going to sleep together." Mark makes it adamantly clear he doesn't want it, and she takes advantage of him, overpowers him.
Hmm.
Now, and that's really the main point of it. Now, you've read Invincible. there are some critics, and by some, I'm not talking internet, I'm talking like people at work who don't really know what they're talking about. They say that this is like glamorizing rape. This is like, making a mockery of it, making a mockery of Mark Grayson as a character. I haven't gotten that far into the comic book arc, so I'm also curious, and I want to ask you too, what purpose, I guess, did that serve? Could there have been other events that could have happened to Mark that would have done the same thing? I guess what I'm saying is, was that scene necessary?
That is a tough question. Was it necessary? I think it was maybe more of an important scene in terms of character development for Anissa more than it was for Mark, in a way, because obviously she does that to him, but then later on in the comic, so this is getting into spoiler territory. There, to fully explain this, I might have to spoil a bit for you. Is that okay?
That's fine. Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead, bro. Yeah.
So that basically, Anissa got pregnant from that.
Okay.
And had a kid, but like basically Mark ends up adopting that kid because Anissa dies later on.
Good, but
so
okay, yeah.
He adopts the child, which was the product of him being raped, which that obviously shows that why Mark deserves to be sort of that looks upon as like the hero that he is, because it takes a lot to be able to do that. But for Anissa, before she dies, her and Mark, sort of Mark ends up kind of forgiving her, because all she's known is Viltrumites need to take over all these planets to create the Viltrum Empire. She was, even though she did that to him. It's such a tricky subject.
It's philosophical, bro, but let's do it. Let's just,
So,
to be clear, we are not saying she was in the right, she was justified.
No,
we're
in
just
no
being
way
clear.
she was in the right, but in terms of how her relationship with the Viltrumites and how she was raised, she is, I can't think of another word, but she's a victim of how the Viltrumites raised her. That's her.
She's
She
socially
thinks,
programmed.
yes, she's programmed. She's brainwashed to think her only purpose is to spread sort of the Viltrumite race and make sure the Viltrumite race is dominant race in the entire universe. And she was driven to do that. Because the reason she did it, by the way, basically is the Viltrumites come to Earth and they're meant to mate with humans to spread the Viltrum Empire. She refuses to mate with a human, and she wants to mate with a Viltrumite, which is why she does that to Mark. And
how do other Viltrumites feel about that, by the way?
So it's not really explored, because the other Viltrumites are sort of still okay with her, but a lot of the other Viltrumites do end up getting in relationships with humans, and then maybe going down a similar route to Omni-Man. But that's all I'll say about that, because that's big spoiler territory.
Okay, all right.
But I think it is important. I think it is necessary, because stuff like this, obviously does happen in real life, and the way Mark deals with it, the way Eve helps him deal with it, I think is really important. And it's not like anything I've seen in any other sort of form of any other piece of entertainment that I've seen. Really, the way it deals with it, it's a subject matter that doesn't get dealt with enough. Male or female, and sort of what happens after. And it's not just sort of it gets over and done with in the next issue. It's something that carries on over gradually over like the next 10, 20 issues.
So it's not pornographic in nature.
Not in
It's to
any way.
bring a voice. Yeah, it's to bring a voice to men who are sexually assaulted.
Yes,
And
yes.
yeah, okay.
And I think that's really important. And I think I know we've discussed before, just when we've just been chatting, me and you, how they do that scene in the show, like how much do they show or whatever. And
because in the comic and we're not going to show that here,
mm,
but in the comic it's very graphic.
if people want to find this comic for themselves and read it and make their own minds up, it's I think it's issue 110. So it's in sort of the final third of sort of the whole story. And yeah, so that's there if you want to look it up for yourselves. But if there's how much they show of it in the actual TV show, they they can go like two ways with it. I know one could be to maybe show her, force him to the ground, and then it cuts to black and it shows him dealing with how it you know affects him afterwards. But yeah, because people will know what's happening, won't they?
Yeah.
Like, you don't
Yeah.
need to show much of it to get across what has happened.
And I don't think you need to see that.
No, you don't, and it's not something people want to see either. You can imply that it's happened, but yeah, it's not something that you should be showing a lot of, because it will bring up traumatic stuff for some people.
Yeah, no, and I mean, in these situations, right, it's hard for men, especially in the cultures and society and the world, to just be open and honest about your emotions and thoughts. So men already don't convey our feelings anyway, like the one joke from Across the Spider-Verse, like Miles said to his dad. But additionally, imagine, the most powerful superhero on the earth, because that's what Mark is, right? When Omni-Man's gone, Mark is the most powerful on the
Mm-hmm.
earth, or is it Adam and Eve?
It's Mark first, I'd say. Eve probably
Okay.
second.
Okay. So like you have Mark. So for the most powerful being on the earth to be taken advantage of, we really shouldn't, and I want to talk to men here, we really shouldn't be advocating sexual assault and rape, especially in a pornographic light. I mean, not to go off on a tangent, but you ever see those stories of like teachers like, messing around with students?
Mm-hmm.
You go to the Instagram comments, what is everybody saying? I wish it was me. He's lucky
Where were
for
these
real. I
teachers
wish it
when
was me.
I was in school?
We shouldn't be.
Mm.
This is the only time I'm going to swear on this, on this episode. We shouldn't be fucking saying that. You know what I mean? Like, because when you are framing that whole situation in your head, it's with consent. You're thinking, oh, this would be cool if it was me. Well, yeah, because you're consenting to it. You feel me? But what happens in real life is not that. What happens in real life is horrifying. And I really hope the show does not make it pornographic, man. It would just be a bitter taste. Like, just address the fact this happened, and if Mark Grayson can get over that and a positive outlook, the best superhero in the world, right? If he can get over that, then I would like to think the show did some good, and by giving men a hug, saying it's okay, and helping them getting over it the same way Mark has. But additionally, and I want to be clear here, this is not a way to say, well, it happens to men too, right? Because every time a woman comes up and says, hey, this happened to me, that happened to me, somebody always says, it happened to men too. It always happens to men too. This is not the oppression politics. This is not the oppression Olympics, right? Nobody is trying to deny experiences. We're just saying, let's stop making rape glamorized. And I don't think that's too much to ask.
Yeah, and the comic doesn't glamorize it at all. It does show the extreme torment it takes out on the person, and I'm confident that the show is gonna do it in the right way. Like Kirkman knows what he's doing.
So
He's he's a good writer. He's a very clever person, so I'm confident that it'll be done in good. I don't want to say good taste, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It won't be
yeah.
distasteful. Let's
It'll
say.
be respectful.
Yes, yeah,
Did you see that Adam Eve special on HBO, or not
yeah.
HBO, but
Amazon.
uh Amazon? Yeah, yeah.
I
What'd
loved
you
it.
think?
I absolutely loved it. It was quite different from the comics. I thought maybe they'd explore a bit of Rex's origin as well because the two are intertwined a little bit. Um, but I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was really, really good, and it, um, in the comics, her backstory is a bit messed up, and the show,
Tell the people if they don't know.
it's well, for the most part, the way she gets her powers is like the same as the show, but she gets swapped as a child. So her parents aren't her real parents. And she screams to them, like, something about being happy to. Oh, she wishes before she finds out she's adopted. She's like, "Oh, I wish I was adopted," and shit like that.
Oh,
Yeah. Um,
and then she got her wish.
yeah. I think that's what she says, something like that. But it sort of it's a nice little what's the word, appetizer to sort of get us ready for season two. A little
Okay.
something, like Corday a few years ago, he dropped a 4-song EP whilst people were waiting for his album. Something little nice little treat like that.
Okay.
Um, and if people didn't like Atom Eve from season one, I don't see why you wouldn't. I thought she was brilliant. It gets you rooting for Atom Eve because you see what she goes through. You've seen how messed up Mark's life is at the end of season one, and then in one episode you see this series of events in Eve's life, which makes you think, oh, she's just as effed up as him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I liked seeing the Lizard League in it as well because like this is a proper cheesy
Mm-hmm.
villain, group, like proper typical comic book villains, and I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
good to see them actually doing something. Um, and yeah, it's just good to see more of Eve and get her character fleshed out more, which I
Mm-hmm.
think maybe is a bit needed. Even though but I probably, because I've read the comics, I like her more than people who just watch a show possibly. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it was really important to flesh her character out and really get people behind her. So I thought
Okay.
it did that job perfectly.
Season 2, man, I can't wait. I can't wait, man.
November
This
3rd. November 3rd.
the fall, bro. The fall, there's so much good stuff coming out in the fall. And another thing that's coming out in the fall very soon is Spider-Man 2, bro. I just love how they put a play on it because in Spider-Man 2 you get to play as two Spider-Men. Like you just can't like how do we beat the first game? Let's make a Spider-Man with two Spider-Man game. Like, a Spider-Man game with two Spider-Men.
Hmm.
And but and we've talked a lot about, Spider-Man theories, blah blah blah, like who Venom could be. But today we want to be a bit more serious about it. So there's reports today saying that Marvel Spider-Man 2, it's unclear if it is a worldwide delay or if it's just a delay overseas. But because of the international market, specifically China, the Middle East, a lot of Asian countries, Russia, it's pretty clear that it is no bueno to be gay over there. Being gay is not okay in those areas. China has now shut down the last LGBTQ center in Beijing, um, because of that. This rising kind of. I feel like it's almost like an answer to like Western nations, like because they support it. So I feel like a lot of these nations are just like answering that call by saying no, but that's neither here or there. Because of potential, we don't even know, but potential LGBTQ representation maybe story arcs, but every time we're even promised a story arc that is LGBTQ related, specifically Thor: Love and Thunder, it doesn't even happen, right? But even that representation is enough to warrant that Insomniac Games might delay Marvel's Spider-Man 2 just so that they can remove that.
Yeah, and I think it's important as well to note that this isn't a slight on the developers. It's the studios of if they don't release the game in those areas, they're not going to make any money, and obviously that's a big thing for the the executives. So there's nothing that can be done by the developers about it. So if people are having a go at them on the internet, don't.
Yeah, like unless somebody at Insomniac Games himself or herself is like, I hate gay people, then sure. But like,
yeah.
I doubt that. Listen, man, here's my thoughts. I'm gonna sound like a Donald Trumper here. This is an American product. If you don't like it, you don't get it. So there's no reason why America needs to cater to Saudi, to China, to any of them. Like, with all due respect, then you missed out on the Spider-Man experience. If you hate the rainbow so much, if you hate gay people so much that it's gonna prevent Spider-Man from entertaining you on the big screen or in the depending on the TV you're playing on, you get what I'm saying? If you hate gay people that much to where you're gonna bring that into Spider-Man, then with all due respect, you don't deserve to play that game. Because you don't even understand the core values of the character.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like you don't even understand what the character is about. With great power comes great responsibility. If you can do good things for others, you have a moral obligation to do it. Are you honestly telling me that these are the morals of Spider-Man? And that's not up to that. Like, maybe it's Insomniac's fault. I don't know. If I had to bet, it's absolutely not, because in Spider-Man PS4 and in Miles Morales, the LGBTQ center was in the game.
Yes. Yeah.
The flag was in the game. So if this is happening, this is unfortunately them trying to put food on the table. And they know that. Like, countries, and this is my hot take, maybe to get political here, countries and societies know that LGBTQ representation is never going to get the same numbers as, say, racial issues or gender issues. They know that. So because of that, because obviously through numerics, through population, gay people are a minority, right? Actually, LGBT is a minority, you can afford to screw them over because there's just not enough of them. And so they will continue to do that. Versus with racism, with classism, there's numbers. There's a numbers aspect, right? You have to cater. You have to be respectful. Unfortunately, you don't have to do that here because I mean, I don't know how much LGBTQ people are on the planet, because a lot of them hide.
Yeah.
Because of the societies that they're in.
Yeah.
You feel me? So it's like it pisses me off because your homophobia is really going to cost everybody else the game. I can't play the game that I already done pre-ordered. You already done pre-ordered. I can't play the game because some motherfucking family in Saudi Arabia, sorry for swearing, but some family in Saudi Arabia hates gay people, so they're going to prevent me from playing it. They're going to force Insomniac Games to cater to their culture. Are you kidding me? Are you?
It's not even like it's a huge integral part of the story either, is it? It's just like a small, really small part. Like,
gay people
they
exist.
have no right to complain, even if it was a big part. But it's ridiculous.
Gay people exist. Gay people exist, and because they said they listed Saudi, they listed Pakistan, they listed Bangladesh, and they listed Middle East. So I feel comfortable addressing the Muslim world. Does that make sense here? Because they named them, right? So I'm gonna address this, bro. You want to be Muslim? You want to pray 5 times a day? You want to believe in all that? That's fine. Nobody is preventing you from doing that, okay? Unless you live in India and Narendra Modi is gonna be, all up in your ass about it. You can practice Islam and you can be chill, right? We done got a show. It was an average show. It was a mid show, but we done got a show, Miss Marvel, that talked about like Muslims. And I'm truly not trying to dunk on the show, but it really was National Geographic of Pakistan. There's no reason why Kamala Khan had to go to Pakistan for that character arc. I'm sorry. It was literally just, let's introduce people to Pakistan, which, I appreciate. And also check out that furniture I got for my cat. so
Oh,
she
that's
gets
cool.
to tune in on the show as well. Yeah, but
Get a mic
no,
over there.
yeah, I mean, hey man, I mean, I have a mic. I bought another mic, so we can make it happen, But like we get the Invincible, we can have a third, Anyway, but I really it frustrates me that religious people continue to impose their restrictions onto other people. Being a Muslim means you gotta be a Muslim, man. Not everybody on the planet is a Muslim,
Mm-hmm.
and not everybody is homophobic. And I want to be clear here: Islam is homophobic. By definition, it's homophobic. In the Quran, it says it's haram to be gay. It's punishable by death to be homosexual. And I'm not even trying to be Islamophobic here. When majority of the Muslims that I know and and you go on the internet, Twitter, they will use homophobia as a badge. They're like, yeah, we love it. We are homophobic.
Hmm.
You feel me? Now, I'm not saying every Muslim's like that. Obviously, I'm not, right? But I would be lying if I said that religion is the end all be all in my life. We both know it's not. I'm more cultural with it, so I don't care that much. But there is an undeniable trend with the more religiosity you have, regardless of religion, the more bigotry you have.
Mm-hmm.
Because by nature, religion is a buy-in system. You want to be a part of the religion, there's certain sets of codes you got to buy into. Okay. And this is one of them. For a lot of Muslims, it is, we don't want this here. And we can go into a deep philosophical debate about, do other countries have the right to dictate their own societies and laws? I would argue, sure, but that doesn't change the fact that the actions that you make are inhumane. Like, you might have the right to do that. It's still wrong, but sure, that's beside the point. What I'm saying is, when you have people who are Spider-Man fans, who read the comics, Spider-Man has had gay characters since the 60s. This is not a new thing, right? For that representation to be in the game is not a big deal. That's a part of the mythos. That's a part of the mythos. For people to cost, because keep in mind, a lot of people don't understand, Insomniac is not going to be paid to remove that from the game. You feel me? You're going to have people in the office crunching because some idiot who reads Quran all day is scared that somebody said the word gay in a video game. That's ridiculous. Go pray more. Like, I'm ridiculous. Like, I'm going to lose my mind, bro. I am tired of religious people costing everybody else because you have a certain set of beliefs. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even fucking gay, dude. I'm not trans. And I don't mean that in disrespect. I'm not trying to be disrespect, but it's just common ethics, bro. It's common discipline. When I was in America and I was Muslim and I'm brown, I knew what it was like to be othered. I knew what it was like to be treated subhuman, to feel like you don't belong. Why the hell would I do that to other people? And so many Muslims in this country, in the UK, in South America, wherever you go, had that same experience. And they still do that to people in the gay community for no other reason, because they say it's haram and they don't fucking think for themselves. I'm sick of this shit. And I'm sorry for screaming and yelling, bro. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm not trying to get
fine.
shadow banned on YouTube, bro. I'm sorry. Maybe we can edit that, like it's ridiculous. You don't need to be gay. You don't need to be part of the community to understand that fuck shit is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
This is wrong, bro. You have people who have literally killed themselves, trigger warning, have literally killed themselves because they don't got the representation. I know what somebody's going to say. I'm going to address this right now. Keep it away from the kids. Keep it away from the kids. I agree that sexual material should not be in front of children. And by sexual material, I'm talking pornographic.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. And you know what? Gay people agree with you too. Nobody's trying to have porn in front of their kids. You're going to have people you're going to have people like here, like in the rally saying we're coming for your kids. There's always a bunch of psychos in every group. I know what that's like. Have we all forgotten 9/11 and Al-Qaeda? I know what it's like to have psychos in your group, bro. That doesn't mean everybody is the same. Just because you got some pedos who happen to be gay doesn't mean the whole gay people are pedos. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just because there might be one person who says, oh, I'm a woman, when they're really not, just to get into the locker room or whatever, doesn't mean everybody's like that. Come on, man. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What conversations are we having? Where is the intellectual academic honesty? Where is the data? Where is the statistics? There ain't none of that. There ain't none of that. And then when we're talking about haram this, haram that, what's the number one, and I know this because I actually wrote a paper about it in grad school. What is the number one searched pornographic type in the Muslim world? Everybody says it's banned. It's not banned. You can get Tor. You can get over that. What is the number one sexual pornographic category in the Muslim world? Take a guess. You'll know it. Take a guess.
Is it lesbian?
Yes. It is gay porn, specifically lesbian, or it's pobby porn, where it's like fucking your sister-in-law or porn. Like, it's a lot of that. But gay is number one. So you're gonna go on a platform like this, a podcast, and go like, oh, this is halal, oh, you know, all of this stuff, haram, haram. And then you're gonna go on Control-Shift-N on incognito mode and see Tiana Trump get it on with Angela White. Don't ask me why I know those names. You're really gonna do that? Like, are you kidding me? And because of your beliefs, you're going to cost everybody else playing this game for no other reason, just so somebody can't come to you and go like, well, are you even a Muslim? I get that comments all the time. And I know somebody's going to watch this right now and they're going to say, are you even Muslim? How can you say that as a Muslim? Motherfucker, I can say it because I'm a grown man. I can say whatever the fuck I want. I don't come out here advocating my beliefs on other people. The only thing I say is treat people with kindness and respect. And you cannot be a Spider-Man fan if you don't want this in the game. It doesn't work. Now, I am not saying, oh, I'm trying to have a Bang Bros scene with Spider-Man and Harry Osborn and blah, blah. Nobody wants that. Nobody is saying that, dude. But if somebody is gay and they feel, you know, like people who are born gay are already fucked. Let's just keep it real. Society doesn't like them. They have to go to spaces where they feel safe. That is a benefit that me and you do not have to or think about. You get what I'm saying? Gay people have to be careful about where they step because some motherfucker might kill them. That's the facts. And then you have people out here in America who look at the, you know, individuals who are talking about we're going to take your kids, so you take your kids, knowing that that's not the majority, knowing that that's not the reality, knowing that that's not even what the movement stands for. They know that, and they're still going to share it, and they're going to be like, oh, this is why they're trying to take the kids. They're trying to take the kids. You know they're not. You're just trying to fit in with your conservative family so you don't get kicked out. That's what it is. And I've been screaming about this. I'm sorry. I'm gonna like calm down now.
That's fine. It was an important thing to address.
But it's ridiculous, dude. It's at the Invincibles, we're a safe space for everybody. If you're gonna come to our podcast with some religious fervor, get the fuck out. That's all I have to say about that. Gay people have a right to exist. Gay people have a right to have representation without everybody coming at them like that. Nobody wants pornographic or sexual content for children, which is not what is happening here. And this is another thing we need to address. When we're talking about the LGBTQ community, too many people conflate them with sexual perversion and crimes. And the last person who called out actual sexual perverts and crimes was Sinead O'Connor. And what happened to her?
Rest in peace. She was...
Rest in peace, yes.
Yeah, it's absolutely tragic. And she was an icon and she spoke up for the people who needed it.
You have people get molested and I'm not trying to like come at like all religion here, but with power comes corruption. With power comes privilege. You have a lot of these religious motherfuckers in rooms alone with their children. Are you telling me that none of them are perverts? Come on, what are we doing here? Come on. Oh, I'm going to teach your children about God all day for 8 hours. Really? 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 Maybe it happens, but there's too many perverts out there. And I'm not saying every religious person's like that. And that's not even what the podcast is about. But it is ridiculous that this game might potentially get banned because people are trying to impose their beliefs on everybody else. Having other people who exist in a different lifestyle from you is not imposing their beliefs on you. It is just educating you that your world is not the only world there is.
Like the beautiful thing about the human race, about being a person on this planet is that no one's the same, everyone's different, and that's fine. Like, that's completely fine that you're not the same as the next person. That's what makes life special.
Bro, like, the reason why I feel so strongly about it is because I know what it's like to have everybody turn around and look at you when it comes to a minority issue in class. Every time it's 9/11, everybody turns around looking at me as if I'm supposed to be the fucking knowledge of 9/11 at fucking 12 years old. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know what it's like to be othered for who you are. Why would I do that to somebody else? I gotta be dense, bro. I gotta be a certain, like, I gotta be so callous and so just missing the point. I don't even have a word for it, but you just gotta be so dense to do the same thing to others while you complain about other people doing that to you. I'm not doing that. I am not doing that. Now, I want to address this. There's gonna be people who are very calm, or very, peaceful, collected in society. They don't cause problems. And they're going to say it's against my religious belief. I don't support this lifestyle. It's against my religious belief, but I have no problem with that. Honestly, and I'm going to ask you too, I don't know the best way to address that. I would argue, even in a nice way, saying I don't believe in your right to exist is still offensive. As nice as you put it, you can only say fuck you, and like, you can only say that as nice as you can,
Yeah.
That's still a fuck you. So, like, I don't know how to address that. I really don't know how to address that. I guess look at trying to solve problems, not so if nobody's causing a problem with it, maybe just try to educate them. I don't know how to address that. But what I do know how to address is the idiots who are openly homophobic, who do not care, and yet they're searching, Tiana Trump, Angela, White, you know what I'm saying? Like, Sarah J on RedTube. They're the same people. Bro, this is the last thing I'm gonna say. I had a huge argument because somebody was telling me that the masjid that they go to, the mosque that they go to, they were talking about how there's like this growing rhetoric and movement in America specifically, as I see it like on Piers Morgan in the UK as well, where they're quote unquote trying to turn everybody gay, and there's like this gay agenda, right? And the way the people in that mosque talked about gay people verbatim, they said they live like animals. Okay, that's what they said. Now, when I am talking to this individual, right, the person who told me this, I am literally outnumbered. It's literally like 4-1. I'm the only person there who's saying what I'm saying. Okay, and I am saying we can all agree that the language used in describing gay lifestyle is not friendly. That's wrong. You can't address that. When people said Muslims are backwards for kissing the ground, we got offended. You feel me? Our asses are in the air. We got offended. When we do like sajda, people were saying, oh, their asses are in the air. We got offended, rightfully so. Because you shouldn't be trying to spread hate. And that's another thing. People who say, oh, I'm just trying to be religious. Oh, I just don't believe in that lifestyle. Motherfucker, you don't like them anyway. You don't like them anyway. Just admit it. And then we can move on. But don't hide behind religion, man. Like, grow a pair of balls. Just say you don't like it. Just say that. Oh, I'm a religious person. I want to follow my religion, but you still smoke weed. You feel me? You still gamble. You feel me? Because gambling is haram. What's another thing? Drink. You still drink. What's another thing people, from my world do all the time? Cheat. Cheating is haram. You can get public lashings for cheating. People don't know that. That doesn't happen though. Only, there's a lot that's wrong that nobody addresses. You know what I mean? Like what I'm doing right now, swearing, that's haram. I really shouldn't be swearing. That's haram. It's a sin, whatever. There's a lot of stuff, but people only want to be religious when it comes to gay issues and when it comes to women issues. And I am tired of that shit over and over and over. You want to be super religious? Be consistent with it. That way, if you're gonna be a dumb fuck, at least you are a consistent dumb fuck. Don't be, a chameleon dumb fuck. You get what I'm saying? Don't be fake. I don't even know where I was going with that, man. It pisses me off, bro. It pisses me off. It's not right. It's not what Uncle Ben would be about. It's not what Peter Parker is about. It's not what Miles Morales is about. In fact, Miles Morales got his new hoodie suit. You saw it on Threads where I was like, can we please have that suit? He got that from a gay kid. A gay kid was getting bullied at Brooklyn Visions Academy. So Miles helped him out as Spider-Man, and his suit was already ripped up. So he was like, hey, can you make me a suit? Because you're big into fashion. And his new suit was made from that. So the values that a lot of you homophobic Spider-Man fans are saying that, oh, W, Insomniac, W them for pushing the game back just to remove it, which we don't even know is happening. I don't know if that's happening. It's a rumor, but I just wanted to address it. Mm-hmm. You don't even understand the character of Spider-Man then. You just don't understand. And people have a right to be able to look at their representation on the screen and feel some connection. You have that right. As trash as Miss Marvel was, bro, you saw how excited I was.
Yeah.
Because it was cool to see my culture. It's cool to see people who look like me. It's cool to see my language, my food in a show. And I feel like, oh, dang, that's like I can't describe it to you, bro. I can't describe, like, it's just cool to see other people see your life. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to deny that to other people, bro. And again, I want to be clear. Nobody is advocating pornographic content to children, no matter if it's gay or straight or whatever. Nobody is advocating for the sexual content or exploitation of children, right? Ice Spice is straight, right? Last time I checked, Ice Spice is straight. Or yeah, she's straight. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, she's straight. She had a 16-year-old in her music video twerking. Where is that? Where is that? Where is everybody saying haram, haram, haram? Where is that? Excuse me. Where are all the religious motherfuckers saying, oh, Jesus wouldn't have done that. Oh, that's haram. Oh, Krishna this, that. Where are all the motherfuckers who are saying, oh, that's wrong. You shouldn't have a 16-year-old twerking in your music video. But if she was gay, oh, no, that's not okay. Oh, no, we got to ban the game. Oh, no, we can't have Lightyear in the theaters. But it's okay to have a fucking 16-year-old twerk in a music video. I'm tapped out. I can't do this. Injustice makes me so fucking angry, dude. Mm-hmm. I can't. I'm done.
Do you want to end it there, or do you want to? Should we try and put a positive end?
Let's do a positive end. Let's do a positive end.
I found this in case we needed a feel-good Invincibles ending.
Let's do it.
These 7 questions will determine if you're most like Tom, Toby, or Andrew Spider-Man.
Okay, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
We'll do yours. I think you need a bit of positive energy at this current moment. Right. So
let's do it, man.
This is Zan's. Is Zan most like Toby, Tom, or Andrew? Okay. How far would you go to save a stranger? The options are not far, a few feet, I would weigh my options, as far as I am allowed, only if no one else gets hurt, or to the ends of the earth.
To the ends of the earth.
Okay. Question 2. Pick a Spider-Man villain. Mysterio, Green Goblin, Lizard, Electro, Doc Ock, or J. Jonah Jameson.
Read that again? Like the villains?
Mysterio, Green Goblin, Lizard, Electro, Doc Ock, or J. Jonah Jameson.
Jonah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Goblin.
Because he talks a lot of crazy shit in the media and just lies and lies, but I don't like that.
True. Pick an alternative Spider-Man. Spider-Gwen, Spider-Pig, as in the Simpsons one, not Spider-Ham. Night Monkey, Penny Parker, Symbiote Spider-Man, or Miles Morales.
Oh! I feel like right now I should be saying symbiote. I'm going with symbiote, bro. I'm going symbiote.
Let's do it.
The Venom symbiote's all up in me right now, bro.
Next question. Oh, this is a good one. Oh, maybe not a good one, but it's an interesting one. What sparks your origin story? The death of a loved one, witnessing a crime, attempting to fix a mistake, a traumatic childhood memory, being an outcast, or getting bit by an animal.
Read that again. Those were some really good ones.
The death of a loved one,
Okay.
witnessing a crime,
Okay. Those are
attempting to fix a mistake,
no.
a traumatic childhood memory, being
Maybe.
an outcast, or getting bit by an
Maybe.
animal.
Okay, so it's a toss up between traumatic memory and being an outcast. Um, because I feel like both kind of shape me, but I'm gonna go with traumatic memory.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Next question. So you've got 6 song options here. Pursuit of Happiness by Kid Cudi,
Okay.
Umbrella by Rihanna,
Okay.
Sunflower by Post Malone and Sway Lee,
Hmm.
Left Hand Free by Alt J, and The Underdog by Spoon. Which one of those would get you moving like Toby in Spider-Man 3?
Umbrella by Rihanna.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, what a tune that is.
Yeah, it's so good.
I think we've got 2 left. Which Spider-Man power would you not want to live without? So, which Spider-Man power could you not live without? Spidey
Okay.
sense, super
Okay.
strength, super speed. He doesn't exactly have super speed, but he's rapid.
Yeah.
Enhanced healing, wall climbing, or spider webs.
I feel like spiderwebs is a tricky one because you need super strength to use that.
Yes, yes, that's a good point.
Um, I'm gonna go with wall crawling.
It's between wall crawling and super strength for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with wall crawling because I want to get over my fear of heights.
Yes. Okay, one question left. The final
Okay.
question is, um, pick a Spider-Man meme. So 6 options are the 2 Spider-Man pointing,
Okay.
and the Mary Jane defending one, where Mary Jane's like, turning around shouting.
Mhm.
Sexy Green Goblin, so the shot of Green Goblin's ass in the first Spider-Man.
Okay.
Pondering Spider-Man, so Miles and Peter B. Parker, thinking like that.
Mhm.
Sad Peter Parker, so Toby doing his very ugly crying face after Uncle Ben dies.
Yeah, but what about this one?
That one's not an option.
What?
The final option is the WTF Spider-Man from the end of Far From Home.
I'm gonna go. Was it the Toby crying one or the Toby screaming one?
Toby crying.
I'm gonna go with Toby crying.
Okay. You are most like, can we get a drum roll? Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Really? I mean, I'm not mad at that, but why? What does it say?
It says, you are cheeky, charming, and just a little bit mischievous. At times, you can be a tad naive, but that's only because you try to see the best in everyone and assume everyone is as pure hearted as you are.
Well, I won't be as arrogant as to say I'm pure hearted, but thank you. I appreciate that. I
Thank you,
appreciate that.
BuzzFeed.
Thank you. Yeah, and I mean, I feel like Tom kind of was losing his shit in No Way Home, kind of getting more angry and angry. I feel like that was this episode, but it's just because at the end of the day, I love people, man. I
Mhm.
love people, bro. Like it's not right that kids get bullied for their weight. It's not right people are killed for their sexual orientation. It's not right that people can't worship because you know 9/11. It's not right that racism happens. It's not right that writers can't get jobs and live in the middle class like they used to. Like it's not right, man. I just need to find a better way to harness my frustration, I guess. But at the end of the day, it's about loving people. It's about caring people. And
Mhm.
when I was a kid and I was getting bullied and I was called Osama every day, the I'm not gonna lie, I was in a very dark place, and I remember Uncle Ben, because the story of Spider-Man is not Peter Parker being perfect. The story of Spider-Man is Peter Parker trying to reach the character of Uncle Ben. The story of Peter Parker is about trying. That's where that's how I interpret the character of Spider-Man. Is he's trying to be Uncle Ben, who was the perfect human being, the most kind human being. And I remember Uncle Ben saying, these are the years, and in Spider-Man 1, these are the years that you're transforming into what you will be for the rest of your life, and be careful who you turn into. And I want to live in a world and a society where everybody matters. I don't think that's too much to ask.
No, absolutely.
But before we get off, man, who are you? Which Spider-Man are you?
Oh, should I take the test?
Yeah, just do it. Take the test.
Okay.
So I'm Tom.
I'll run through this quickly here. How far would I go to save a stranger? I'd go to the ends of the earth if I had superpowers. Pick a Spider-Man villain. I'm gonna go with Green Goblin.
Okay.
Big part of my childhood. Pick an alternative Spider-Man. It's got to be Spider-Pig from The Simpsons. I'm sorry, that is just iconic. Spider-Pig does whatever a Spider-Pig does. What does he say? Can he swing from a web? No, he can't. He's a pig. What sparks my origin story? Oh, I was
48
terrified.
seconds.
I was terrified of dogs as a kid, so I'm going to go with getting bit by an animal. Which song gets me moving like Toby? I'm going to go with Umbrella by Rihanna as well. Okay. Which Spider power could I not live without? Super strength. Pick a Spidey meme. Sexy Green Goblin. I got Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I'm introverted, old soul who can get a bit closed off, but only because I don't let many people in. Before you get a bad rep as a not-so-friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, it's only because you care so much and you don't want to see anyone you love come in harm's way.
Perfect. So I'm Tom. You're Toby.
Yes.
Instead of Zan and Oli today, that's the end of this episode. Thank you very much for tuning in. Take care, everybody, and we will see you guys next week.